Yes, it's the Leaders World. It's your corner where we talk to leaders about leadership. And we are so thankful that you're here with us. And yes, both of our guests are here and they are ready for you. If you have your questions or you're going to have questions, just know that they'll be glad to have your questions answered. They'll be ready to answer those questions for you. So, with us in the studio, we have Ayom Eno. He is an international footballer. He is the former vice captain of the Cameroon Indomitable Lions, and he has participated in 2 World Cups and 2 Africa Cup of Nations. He has played for Ajax Cape Town, Ajax Amsterdam, and a host of other international teams, football teams. He is speaker with Lead Missions International Conferences. He is a guest at BBC radio programs and guest at Sky Sports. And he is the co-host of the Ajax podcast. He is the co-founder of Big. What is Big? Big is Ballers in God. And that is the fastest growing Christian footballers movement in Europe. You know, I could keep talking much more about this gentleman that we have on here now, but I'll leave it for you to discover for yourself in line with our topic, how to succeed regardless. But there is one thing I would say, he has a big vision around sports management and football coaching. Somebody I've known for several years, a man of high dedication and commitment with us in the studio. Your own very young
Hello, Suzanne. So good to be with you on this great platform. I'm really honored. Thanks for the invitation, and I really believe we're gonna have a great time.
We are so excited to have you. We are super excited. You know, when I told my son you were coming, he was like, I need to see him. I was like, oh really? He's like, who doesn't want to see a celebrity? And yes, he had to see you and just say hi. He was so excited about that. With us in the studio as well, we have Madam Sharon Singh. She is international leadership trainer, and this has been going on for more than 20 years. She is an experienced international educator and a leader in computer science, IT, and educational leadership for more than 20 years as well. She provides thought leadership and commentary on technology, education, and computer science for educators globally. Oh, wow. She is recipient of the 2019 Australian Computer Science Gold Disruptor Award for Australian ICT Educator of the Year. She is also a gold medalist with the University of South Pacific. She is an international faculty with Hegai Institute. She's worked in Fiji. She's worked in Hong Kong, New Zealand, South Korea, Australia. Guess what? I could go on for the next 5 minutes, but I know you just want to see her. A person with an amazing personality, Madam Sharon Singh.
Hi, Susan. You have really explained everything now. No more to say. It's a pleasure to be here. Hi, everyone.
You know, I didn't really say everything because I still have a lot of it which I didn't say. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic is how to succeed regardless. And we'll be right back.
For your corporate and personal needs.
Leaders World Institute, changing lives, one leader at a time.
You know what? Ma'am Sharon, what do you think? Do you think success is for everyone, by the way?
I think everybody is born to succeed. Yes, I truly believe that. And I suppose it depends on what one defines as success for themselves. It is very personal. So yes, getting back to your question, definitely everyone is born to succeed.
Aeon, what do you think?
Well, I think everyone, just like Sharon said, everyone is born with potential to succeed. Everyone
Mhm.
has a certain level of capacity to succeed. And like she said, it depends what success is to you, what you define
Mm.
success to be.
Now you're bringing us to that question about defining success. Yeah, I like how you said everybody is born with potential. Where I grew up, we used to hear people saying that they just came here to escort others on earth. Like there is nothing in here for them. They just came to escort other people, like to just carry their bags and help them on their journey of success. And now you're telling us that everybody has those potentials. Ma'am Sharon, what is success?
I suppose going back to the dictionary definition, which everybody goes to, whenever you want to find the meaning of a word, it says it's the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose, and that's totally correct. You have it. It is something that you want to achieve. I think everybody wants to achieve something, no matter where you are. Right in the corner in the villages in Fiji, or you're sitting at in the corporate world, right? On your desk, let's say in New York, wherever you are, you want to achieve. And and success looks different for everyone. Of course, being successful is what as I said, everyone is striving for, but not the outcome everyone achieves. So the outcome is different for everyone. So I think in order to make it personal and make it relevant and practical, we have to define ourselves what success looks like to us. So how do we know if we are successful if we have not defined it in our own terms, because our circumstances, everyone is different. We
I
have
like how you say we have to define it in our own terms. Ayon, like, can you fit into that? Like defining it in our own terms, what is success? And yeah, I see Ma'am Sharon just had a lot and she'll be right back to tell us some more. But can you just fit into that a little bit, please, Ayon?
Well, again, success is like Mom Sharon was saying, you have to define it in your own terms. It's a very simple but at the same time complex word because we live in different cultural, economical, we live in different geographical contexts, and all those things affect the way each individual sees, understands, and reason what success is. For me, it was a little bit more easy to start to get a picture of what success is when I started reading a lot. I didn't even think of the word success as a young person growing up. I was just living, having fun, jumping, studying. So when I started reading books and I started seeing people using the word success, then I wanted to know what it meant. So one of the first books that I read, it was Think and Grow Rich. My dad gave me that book years ago. And I came across a slight, very simple definition of success by Earl Nightingale, which is a mentor to Bob Proctor. One of the things he said, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Now, it took me a lot of time to read it. As simple as it was, I didn't get it. Like, oh, success is the progressive realization. So the first word that stuck with me is that success is not static, it's progressive. I'm like, okay, it means I'm going to go on a journey. Then I knew I was going to get on a journey. The second is that it's a realization. It means, okay, there are activities to put, but which activities? What does it, how do I define success in my context? And then the third one, he said, a worthy ideal. Well, don't go far. It pushed me to study more. And then the one that is one of my favorite, of course, I listened to a great mentor like Miles Monroe, but really the definition of success that really gave me the kind of roadmap is when I was reading a book by John C. Maxwell. And his definition of success gives me three phases for me to understand that success is in these three phases. The first is that success is first knowing your life purpose. For me, that was a start. The second thing about success is that knowing your life purpose, and he said growing in to your maximum potential. Wow, that was the second step for me. Then the final step, he said sowing seeds to benefit others. Then for me, that became the three levels of success for me. And I started to work on the first one, which was to knowing my purpose. Why was I here? Until I got to know that, I will not even know if I'm a success or not, because my purpose defines success to me.
Oh, wow, 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 wow. And here we are talking about success, and we are talking about succeeding regardless. If you have questions, please go ahead, ask those questions, and our guests will be glad to answer your questions. Are some people just born to succeed by default, ma'am Sharon? Like, are some people just born to succeed by default?
I love the way you use the word default. There's so many things that are by default in our lives, aren't there? It's such a technical term as well. I mean, working in the IT and computer science world, we refer to that word quite often. And I think, as I've said before, you say, are some born to succeed by default? I say, everyone is born to succeed, has the potential to succeed. So I say everyone is born to succeed. I
Wait,
don't
wait, wait. Please, ma'am, don't forget, some of us come from backgrounds and families that are not supportive and that don't have anything like success written on them. Are you serious?
I am totally serious. I have come through a very rough life. It's been I'm talking through very personal experiences here. When I was growing up as a teenager, I loved, Dion, when you spoke about, having that, you never planned it, you enjoyed it, you just had fun. I didn't have fun in my teenagers. You see, in my early teen years, it was a breakup of our family, which was a marriage that was so beautiful. And then all of a sudden, it just fell apart, my mom and dad. I'm the eldest of 4 siblings. And it was, I don't know where my teen years have gone. It's been like looking after my siblings, and at the same time, trying to succeed. Here we go, trying to succeed in my studies. I was doing what they call the suicide 5, which is doing chemistry, biology, physics, maths, and English in senior school. That's the stream I was taking. And it wasn't easy. I would be, finishing off all the housework, making sure everybody was done. This is in my late, early teens. Then I went to university, became very rebellious. So it hasn't been an easy ride to get to where I have been. And like you say, you're totally correct, Susan. Everyone there are people who don't support them. I've had those instances in my life. And I think the reason I say everyone is born to succeed, and I go back to the word Eon said, the potential is there. What we do with that potential is our choice, is our decision. No one can stop us. And God gives us that strength, no matter where you are, who you believe in. It is important to remember that we have strength from above to lift us out of that mess.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The power of believing in a power that's bigger than you.
That's great.
Definitely. Already we have a couple of questions, but let's have some more beef into the conversation and then we'll come to your questions. But thank you so much for asking those questions. I want to assure you that our guests are taking note of those questions. And hey, Young, we are just thrilled to have you on the platform here with us. You're affecting thousands of lives all around the world, and you're influencing the young generation in a big way. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey of success?
Well, my journey of success began, Susan, like I said, just living life as innocent as I was, focusing on the things I liked. I liked playing football. I liked doing gymnastics. I liked dancing. I was loved school, did well at school. And I was just exploiting, like every young, especially boy child or any other child who likes exploring different things around them until after when I was going through my secondary school, when I began to think about this statement my dad said to me. And my dad said something to me. I think the environment and the words you hear begins to shape success for you at a very early or later stage of your life.
Oh, wait, can you say that again? Now that sounded powerful again.
I said the words and the things you're exposed to at a very earlier years shapes what success is to you in the later stages of your life. It can give you a direction. Wow. So we said, you asked the question, is success by default? So I said, if you take out the D and leave the F, you have fault. So yes, success is by default, which means everyone has the automatic potential to succeed. but not everyone is having the D attached to their fault. But the moment you take off the D, which is the environment, the words, the right things that would trigger that potential, you are at a fault to succeed, and you will believe it. So my dad said this to me. He said, son, I was around 15, 16. He said, by the time you get to 18, I want you to start thinking leaving my house. Well, that was a big shock for me. And I was like, my dad was to kick me out of the house. What have I done? Did I do something wrong? I see other people in their houses. They are older than 25. They're still in their houses. My dad is telling me, you need to get out of the house by the time you're 18. So after a week, he calls me back. He said, did you think over what I said? I was like, yeah, I really got upset with what you said to me. Why are you kicking me out of the house? What did I do? He said, then you didn't get the message. This is what I was communicating to you. He said, if I'm not around in the next 1 year, what will you do? If your mom is not around in the next 1 year, what will you do? I sat quiet. He said, I wanted you to start thinking about what you want to do with your life. I want you to start thinking about how you will chart the course of your life.
Right.
And that moment for me was the moment I began to think independently, and I began to think forward.
Wow, there is so much gems and so much gold in everything you're saying, because I am thinking, and from a leader's mindset, I am analyzing and assessing everything, and I'm just like, oh wow, I hope our audiences are hearing what I am hearing. Your father pushed you to be an independent thinker. He also pushed you to focus, and you were focusing on the things that you like. And ma'am Sharon, you told us about the Suicide Five. and the Suicide Five was Suicide Five to some people, but I don't think there was Suicide Five to you, because you are a gold medalist, and you just got this award of being a disruptor in the ICT environment. Like you were killing the Suicide Five, kind of. Tell us a little bit about success and doing what you like.
I suppose I go back to my personal journey, and that's the best part. That's how we identify ourselves, and how we, have been shaped. The way we are, what we think, our circumstances, our culture, our environment around us helps us to think the way we think. And like Ion, I have had my parents have had a lot of influence in my life when I was growing up. And then I was born in Fiji, and I lived in Fiji for a while before we moved around. This is the 5th country, Australia, that we are living in. Wow. And yes, it's been quite a journey, and we've listened to God's voice, and we've moved from country to country. I think our ultimate purpose has been to be happy. I think that's the main thing. I think a good gauge in your success is, are you happy? I feel that it may sound very cliche, but that's the truth. If you're not happy, that means you are not succeeding. Even in that happiness gauge, you are not succeeding. So when we talk about success and my journey. So from Fiji, I'm from there are 2 main islands in Fiji. I come from the small island. My husband comes from the main city island. We moved over after we got married. I was a Ruth in the Bible. I moved to the main island, and that's where we worked, and then we had our children, and we've brought them up with a lot of love, like many parents do their own children. And then from there, we moved to New Zealand, where my husband went for higher studies. And then we got back to Fiji. From Fiji, we moved to Hong Kong, again, working in the IT and computer science area. From there, we moved to Australia. Things were not very stable at home, political situation.
So what you're telling us, that your journey to success hasn't been a straight line.
It hasn't been a straight line. Definitely not.
So you're telling our audiences, guys, listen, it's not going to be a straight line.
No,
it's a secret. Don't tell nobody, but we told you.
Yes, it's definitely not a straight line. I can vouch for that, and I'm sure Ian will say the same thing. There's always ups and downs. There's always different degrees of success, and
Right.
and different degrees of joy and happiness we go through depending on what that success is all about.
Right. Right.
I think one of the things that as I've been moving and working in this industry, for me as a leader in my profession has been very, very important for me. I work in the IT and computer science industry.
Right.
It is a very male dominated field, and to be to be successful in this has been quite a journey.
Wow.
It's not been
Wow.
overnight. It's taken a long time. Every department I head is full of all males, and so it's an interesting journey. But
Yes.
I think your leadership skills, your leadership styles, and the way you think, as I was saying, whatever you have been through, your experiences shape you. They
Wow.
help you to react to situations. They help you to make the decisions in the role as a leader.
This right here is pure gold. The experiences that you go through, they shape you and your personal leadership. And we have questions in the chat about your environment. And I was just thinking also about that environment and what it might have done for you, Aeon. How does environment contribute to our success? Because we all are from different environments. And Mabel, right now I'm looking at your question. You were asking, how would you define success to a kid in a remote country, African village, who has no exposure beyond his or her environment? And this question, I'd like to direct it to Ayon. Tell us about environment, and are we really able to break out from that environment? And I know that question is talking about Africa, but I was having a conversation yesterday. Because my daughter was buying a car, so I was at the dealers with her, and we were having that conversation with the agent, and he was telling us about the challenges he was born in America, he's been living in America all his life, and he was telling us about the challenges that he's been going through, and just how he's been struggling to navigate and find his feet in life. Please, sir, speak to that.
Well, again, it goes back to what Susan was sharing about knowledge. It goes back to your mindset, what you're exposed to. Yes, the environment plays a big role in the way you are shaped. But again, if you get exposed to whoever around you has a certain level of success in whatever they're doing, it may not be the biggest of things. And for me, I learned very early to what I call redefining success. And redefining success means I'm not going to look for someone who's on the TV. I'm not going to look for someone who is far away. I'm going to look for someone who's this close to me and who has certain values. For me, successful people all over the world have certain traits. And in that environment where you are, there's going to be a few things. Someone who is consistent, someone who is diligent, someone who is hardworking, someone who is trying to create new solutions.
Wait. Now you're nailing it. So you're saying that all we need to do is to look in that environment, and we will definitely find role models, people who might not be doing it huge, but they're ahead of us and we can learn.
Yes, exactly.
Please keep on, sir.
Yes, this helped me a lot because as growing up in Africa, and like I said, everyone that has been able to push out of an environment and background, they got connected to some knowledge, some thought they picked up from somewhere. Those things triggered them. For me, also reading a book written by Mike Murdock, The Law of Recognition, was a big shift for me. And one of that law says all that you need is all already around you, just waiting for you to recognize it.
Wow.
That statement there shaped a lot of things for me. So I didn't have to look far for a lot of things. I started using the things around me. I grew up in Cameroon, in a small city of Tico, where I was playing football. So we're talking about environment. I didn't have no gym. I didn't have no personal trainer, no personal mentor who would take me early in the morning to run. I didn't have a football club where it was very organized professionally and all with all this, a lot of wonderful facilities. But I decided to use the things I had around me to work. So I used a staircase, which was abandoned, an old German staircase behind my
And you
house.
know what? I want to hear that story, and I don't think I'm the only one who wants to hear that story. And I'm thinking right now that look at us. We are on here, and we are just doing this because we love doing this. And for somebody, this might just be the environment that you have been waiting for your entire life.
Yeah.
Like instead of sitting there and saying, "Oh, I don't have any support." I am a coach with the John Maxwell team, and today, somebody just posted in our group and said, "Hey, I am a teacher and I feel stuck. I don't know what to do." And I just said something as well on the post, and then she wrote me and said, "Hey, thank you for commenting on my post." I'm like, "Yeah, let me know if I can help in any way." And she was like, "Just talking with you is already helping me." And then we had that conversation, and by the time I was done chatting with her, she was like, "Yes, this is what I'm going to do." I said, "You got this." And she was like, "Yes, I got this. Thank you so much." So you have all of us here, and we want to be your cheerleaders to let you know that you're not alone, and you have all of us clapping for you and letting you know that you can actually do this. Can you complete that story about the German building? And
Well, where I was living, there was just a German old stairs next to the house, which people just use it to climb up and down. They use it for normal purposes. But I saw it differently. For me, it was a training utensil. It was a place for me to train. It was a place for me to develop my muscles. It was a
oh
place for me
wow.
to become stronger. So again, recognizing the things that are around you, which you can use to develop yourself. When you begin to use the law of recognition, for anyone who is listening to me now, you thought that probably what you need is going to come from abroad, is going to come from afar. Just that applying the principle of recognition. Just look around you and ask yourself, what can I use now to build myself in whatever way that I can for where I want to go to? You'll be amazed. You'll be so shocked that a chair that is just next to you, you said, "I don't have money to pay for a gym lessons." The chair can be so converted for a wonderful gym instrument for you.
Wow, wow, wow. So I have Cici. She was also talking about children born in war zones and no school. And do you think that what you're saying right now, Aeon, is applicable to that kind of environment, that kind of situation?
I think that kind of environment pushes a child, gives a child a vision. The environment may not be conducive at the moment to be able to do certain things. But every child or everyone found in that kind of environment, they begin to hate certain things, that things they wouldn't like because it's going on.
Oh,
And whatever you don't like, it's something you are designed to solve. So that is the approach you're going to have to look at it. You're going to become a peace ambassador because what you saw or what it cost in your heart, you will say, "I don't want this to affect other people. I don't want this to change other people." Maybe people couldn't have food during that time. You're going to say, "You know what? I'm going to start being the one that will supply food." People couldn't have shelter. It's a place where visions and dreams are born.
wait, this is just pure gold. So you're saying that, oh my God, did anybody hear this? That is the very place that a vision can be born for you.
Yeah.
Because someone said, if you want to be great, look for a problem and solve it.
Yeah.
Look for a problem and be the solution. And now we're having this conversation, and you're telling us about the difficult times being places where visions are birthed. Ma'am Sharon Singh, do you want to just speak into that a little bit? Because some of our listeners may be in that situation right now, and they're like, "I don't have nothing, I don't have nobody, and all around me is desolate. Like, it doesn't look like there is much hope coming."
Yes, it's a difficult world we live in, and there are difficult situations each of us go through, and some more so than others. And these war-torn areas where there's high poverty, these areas, children, if you say they cannot succeed, I don't agree with you. I am an innovator. Innovation is in my blood, and I think it's important to realize And I totally agree with what Ian just said. That brings out, these ideas come out from that, the situations that they are in. It is our job as adults and educators to nurture and direct and facilitate that thought and idea in the minds of these young people. In war-torn areas, as you know, Susan, we have participants from all over the world in Haggai International who I have gone through. I've been doing this for 17 years with these leaders. They come with stories of such poverty, such pain in these areas. A child who wakes up every morning and there's gunshots all the time. I mean, there is a lot that they can think about in terms of innovation. So our job as leaders, as our job as teachers and educators, sports people, sports is a great place. And Ian, you are just in the right place to make that impact in these lives of these young people. And technology has made it possible, so much so, to reach to these young people. Let's say, for instance, there is a type of, like Ian, your field is soccer. There may be some things in soccer, not necessarily how the game is played, because the kids would know, but there could be a technology that could be introduced to them that they can see how they are performing, measure their performance. You could actually lead them far away. These kids would be so engaged and learning, despite them being in an environment, and a teacher can facilitate that connection to you.
Wow.
So being innovative in what we do, I think is
innovation, dream casting, and having a vision in your environment. One of the ways that you know what you're called to do is what causes you pain, what annoys you, what makes you cry, what don't you want to see at all. So if your environment already is causing that kind of pain, could it be that there is a vision about to be birthed? Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back.
For your corporate and personal needs.
Leaders World Institute, changing lives, one leader at a time.
So this is the Leaders World. It's brought to you by Leaders World Institute. Leaders World Institute exists to build, equip, and train leaders for the ministry and for the marketplace. And this platform exists to influence leadership thought processes and impact transformation. That's why we endeavor to bring to you the best of the best. I was talking with someone and I said, we are trying to bring cutting edge information to people who otherwise might not have it in any way. So thank you so much to our guests. Thank you so much, Ayon. Thank you so much, Sharon, for the sacrifices. We had our issues with the time lapses and so on. And I know Sharon forgave me. We had a laugh over it because she thought it was yesterday. And we were texting back and forth, and she was on the screen and doing this, and I was saying, okay, so tomorrow we'll come back, and she was like, what? It's not today. I'm so sorry. No, it's not today, it's tomorrow. So yeah. So thank you so much for the sacrifices, and we truly appreciate it. And I was just thinking about investing in oneself. Leadership development and personal development experts, Ayon, they tell us that the best investment you could ever make is investing in yourself. Do you want to speak into that a little bit for us? Thank you.
Yes, I agree. The word success in itself will not be fully cut across unless the person who is talking about it invests in themselves. And before what you want to invest in yourself, like why are you investing in yourself? For what purpose are you investing in yourself? When you invest in yourself, what do you want to do with it? For me, it was very clear earlier on that I wanted to play football. And if I was going to be a professional footballer at a top level, then I had to invest in myself. If I was going to be someone that is really going to break across from Cameroon local league to Africa to Europe at the top level, then it is going to take investment. And that investment is going to be probably something that is going to be for a long time. Maybe when I start doing the investment, I'm not going to see the results. Probably it's going to take a year. Probably it's going to take 2 years, probably 5, maybe 7, maybe 10. But if I keep and stay consistent in that investment, I would definitely see it show up one day. So investment for me is non-negotiable. And for me, it was just about developing my skills, developing my ability in whatever I was called to do, developing it. And it was not about how much I did, it was how consistent I did it. It was how repetitive I did it.
So are you saying that I couldn't just do a lot today and boom, it happens for me? Like,
no, there's no overnight success. Success is, again, I go back to the definition of Earl Nightingale, is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So it's going to take time. So there's no success which doesn't take time. Any success overnight is no success. It's just a happening, and it's going to fade up with time.
Oh wow.
Yes.
You know, when I was crafting this topic, how to succeed regardless, I was like, maybe there would be somebody out there who's thinking, maybe they're just going to do this pony show type of thing and tell us how to get rich overnight. I'm like, well, if there is anybody thinking that way about this topic, it's a good thing. So we can help them to get off of that mindset, because it's true that there is actually no overnight success. Ma'am Sharon, do you want to tell us a little bit about the value of equipping yourself, investing yourself?
Yes, it is non-negotiable. I think so too, very much so. And I think we must. I remember I'm an educator, and leading in the educational field, I look at the well-being of both the participants and students, and also my teachers and staff. So it's very, very important. For us as leaders, all teachers are leaders. They are there in front leading. So when we talk about leadership, it's not just leadership in the corporate world on the top. We're talking about leaders in every space, every area. I'm a leader as a mother of my children, so there are lots of leadership roles that we play. So I think we must invest in our physical health, our emotional health, and our spiritual health. And especially now, our physical health is so important with COVID around, and educating those we lead in the manner in which we should be looking after our physical health. And many of us who are educators or who are leaders are not young, you know what I mean? Like, you're not teenagers. We're getting older and older. So it's more important for us to look after our health. So I'd say when we're talking about investing, the first 3 things we should look at is your physical health, emotional health, and your spiritual health. Without being healthy, really healthy in all of these areas, you cannot be successful. You cannot be a good leader as well. So it's important, I think, to do that. Education, having knowledge, continuously learning is very, very important. Professional development, building relationships, all of these we should be investing in. Just a pure standing up and how to speak is important as well. So there's a whole heap of things we need to educate ourselves in. I think so. Education is very important. And also there are people I know, adults, I work we do a lot of work in Myanmar. We do a lot of work in Nepal, in Kathmandu. They're very poor people and they are not educated. You don't have to be just a child to be educated or go to school. You can be a grown-up who has never been to school, still be educated in something you're passionate about, so long as there are resources available or people can make it available to you.
Thank you so much. This right here is so impactful, and I'm just sitting here and drinking. And well, to tell you the truth, guys, I'm doing this not just for you, but for myself as well. Because do you know what I do? I go back and I watch those videos, and I'm like, yes, and I'm just feeding myself, because I want to move forward. I want to make progress in the things that I think that I am called to do. And you talked about think and grow rich. Aeon, in Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill tells us about having a definite purpose and then a strong desire to accompany that. Um, uh, do you want to feed into that a little bit? Having a definite purpose and then having that strong desire to accompany that as far as success and yeah.
Yes, I will talk about my personal story a little bit to give some clarity on that. As a young student at university, I was in between, like a kind of which way I was going to turn to the left, to the right. I was really at my third year at university studying. At the same time, I had to make a choice, a decision. Am I going to fully concentrate on football, pursue it, or I was just going to let it sleep and then just focus on doing my studies in medical science at the time. So it was quite tough for me. So just what you talked about, a definite purpose. I needed clarity of purpose. So some have found purpose, but they don't have full clarity yet. And that clarity was going to decide the level of strong conviction I was going to put in what I was doing. So for me to do that, the first thing is that I wrote my success principles through my experience over some time, and I wrote 5 of them. The first one was, you are the sole scribe of your destiny. In other words, you decide.
Wait, you actually wrote down success principles.
Yes, I wrote my success purpose
If I were
principle.
you, dear friends, if I were you, I'd listen. I'd listen very keenly. All right. Yes, go ahead, sir.
So the first one was just, you are the sole main actor in your destiny movie or life story. In other words, no one can decide for you. The decision you take is what affects your destiny. So people can suggest, people can say, but what you decide after, at the end of it all, you are the main actor. The second one for me was that you need to have strong convictions. Those strong inner urge and convictions, which probably sometimes you have them strongly, but other people may not see them, and go for it. For me, that was the second one. The third one for me was that don't be linear, be open-minded, be open, study, research, listen to other messages, and don't envy. Along the journey, don't be intimidated by other people's success. Celebrate them, but focus on your own thing. Be inspired by them, but focus on your own thing.
Wow. Yes.
And the fourth one for me is get a mentor. Get a mentor. You need a mentor. Someone was going ahead of you, and there are different levels of mentorship. Just what we're doing now is also part of mentorship on Leaders World Institute. Or someone physical you can get, someone you can write. There's a lot of information out there. And the fifth one is, as a man of faith, as a Christian, is that the place of God in your life is non-negotiable. Because all those other 4 principles, they should be on a foundation which God has for you. So those were the 5 principles that I wrote for myself. The second one was what really helped me define where I was going. When I took that time and set myself apart, away from all the noise and all the voice, and followed the strong inner conviction I had inside. Then when I took that step, I was so bold that I couldn't let anything stop me.
Wow.
Now, a lot of people didn't see what I was seeing. Many people didn't understand the step I took, but I knew where I was going. I knew what I wanted to achieve. And it was a matter of time before they started saying, wow, we see now why you took this step. So for me, that was key. Have that bold, strong conviction.
Yes.
And then that strong resolute, the resolute comes from the inward conviction that is so pure, which was given to you by God or nature or whatever you can call it.
Wow. I am still digesting that. And I'll come back. There are a couple of things that you mentioned. You talked about not envying and all of that, but we just have this question here from Jennifer, and she's saying, please, how can one deal with procrastination, which greatly hinders success? And I was thinking, ma'am, Sharon, Jennifer is asking about procrastination, how it brings success. Do you want to please speak into that?
Yes, definitely. Procrastination is such a deterrent. It's such a block when you want to accomplish something, or you want to achieve a particular goal, and I'm guilty of that. How many times have I procrastinated? I mean, I think we all of us do that. I think you have to go back, take a step back, and think, why are you procrastinating? What is the reason? Why am I not doing this? And I'll give you an example. For instance, studying. I've been doing some university studies. So I give this excuse of, I've got so much work to do. I'm doing full-time work. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. I have to go and look at my grandchildren. I have so many excuses not to do my study. Why am I doing that? I'll tell you why I'm doing that. I find it so difficult. That's the thing. It's so difficult. I need to find difficult in the sense the content is difficult to understand. So I took a step back and said, why am I doing this? Because it is something difficult. So I need to now go and find out steps on how to deal with that difficulty, like the content.
Steps. You see how I study? I just pick one word. Step. There is somebody said that, how do you eat an elephant? One piece at a time, one little bit. Just cut one little bit. Just get something from that elephant at a time, and by the time you know it, you've eaten the entire elephant. Ma'am Sharon. I just had to pick that for myself. So are you talking about steps like to help us to overcome procrastination? We need those steps.
Yes, very much. You need to have a good plan. You can have your plan, but you will still procrastinate. So it's like those pieces in a puzzle. I love the puzzle analogy. You kind of hide the piece as well. Somebody hides it for you, and the piece doesn't fit. You know what I'm talking about, right? So I think in the procrastination thing is, go to the source, find out why you are not doing. You will know. You only alone know what the answer is to that question. No one can help you there. So you need to be honest, very transparent with yourself, be very honest, and lay it on the table and say, this is the reason. I have to address that first before I move, past this block. So
wow.
That's the way I would address that.
Well, if you want to hear a very brute answer from me, how do I overcome procrastination? Get up and do it. Yeah, and one of the ways I've discovered that it helps me to overcome procrastination is, I ask myself, where will I be 3 months from now if I don't do this? Where will I be 6 months from now if I don't do this? Where will I be 4 months from now if I don't? Where will I be 2 years from now if I don't do this? And then I'm like, I need to get up, I guess, because I look at my future and it doesn't look good as I want it to be. And I know that future depends on what I need to do right now. And I'm like, I guess I just need to do this now. So I get up and I dust myself up and I do that. So one of the ways you can help yourself is to think about where you are going. Always have your big picture in front of you. And I am a huge big picture fan. If you need help with that, of course, you can always get to me, right? So I'm coming back to what Ayon said, and thank you so much, ma'am Sharon, for just telling us about those steps and being frank with us, that we have to come back to ourselves and nobody's going to do it for us. Now just pick yourself up and start doing something.
Yeah. Susan, there's one more thing as well in terms of that procrastination, is sometimes procrastination becomes a blessing in disguise, because when you step back and look at why you are not doing it, you then realize, actually, I shouldn't be doing this. So you change your plan. So, like you have different routes to get to a particular point. You go on another route. So you can do that. So the goal could be the same, but then you may need to take another route to get there.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. The goal could be the same, but you could take another route to do it. Because sometimes we just get stuck in, this is my goal and this is the direction and I need to go through here to achieve it. But then you discover after reflecting and from what you're advising that no, sometimes you might need to change strategy.
Right.
Okay. The goal might be the same, but you might need to change strategy. And
Mm.
sometimes the strategy may require for you to do what? To just do one little step and
Mm.
then build on that step and then build on that step. And Jennifer is saying, I'm all ears. Thank you so much for those tips. So, Ayon, right now I'm thinking because I'm thinking about self leadership, Ayon, and I'm thinking about attitude, and I'm thinking about because there's something you said about not envying. It just opened my mind to this question, like, oh yeah, I should ask this, so we can dig more and delve more into that. Self leadership, attitude, envy, like what does this have to do with succeeding regardless?
Yeah, thank you, Susan. That question touched on what I would call the ABC of success for me. Of course, the A to Z can be different things for different people, but for me, the first is always attitude. Attitude is huge. Attitude is so powerful because it determines how you approach things, how you view things, how you analyze things, and the right attitude always see possibility. The right attitude is always seeing an opportunity. The right attitude is always seeing a blessing in disguise. The right attitude is always seeing an event to grow, to learn. The attitude gives the right interpretation which you need in certain situations.
Wow.
So with the right attitude, you can interpret things properly and get the best out of it. The
Okay.
wrong attitude will always see things not going your way, things not working well. And then you can get into the ABC, which is the accuse, blame, complain game. But for me, attitude is key because it focuses on how you can improve, how you can learn, how you can develop, and what you can contribute, and how you can bring your own little support of change. And that has been key for me in
Wow.
my approach. Attitude helped me so much as a young footballer growing up. I realized most of the older players could easily come to me and give me advice and tell me something that I was doing wrong and how I
Okay.
could do it better. But with
Wow.
the other, my age group, they couldn't come because their attitude didn't accept their correction. It didn't accept their advice. So
Wow.
it was easy for them to always come to me, and that made me move ahead of my peers because I received all the experience and knowledge from them because of my attitude.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. You know what? I'll just drop the mic on that question right there. Because if we are to continue, it seems to me that you have so much experience in this domain that you could go on for the next 30 minutes on that question. Ma'am Sharon, I'm looking here and I'm thinking, how can we be strategic in relationship building when it comes to success? How can we be strategic, Ma'am Sharon?
Strategic, are you talking about,
In relationship building.
Yes, in relationship, when we are working, what is it? When we are trying to, okay, let's go to business, right? When we do business with people, not with things, not with products. We do business with people. So being competent in relationships is the fundamental skill, very, very important. It's a people skill. How
Wow.
much time do we spend in relationship building? In 1 week, how many hours per week? Just maintaining relationship with family, friends, business, new relationships. It takes a lot of time. And I spend a lot of time in building relationships. I totally believe in it. It is very, very crucial.
Wow.
It may seem easier to, when you have a relationship, things are not going too well. It may seem, and I've come across this so many times, when you are leading, you're leading teams, leading organizations, you're leading a group of people in a particular project, and things are not working well, there's a clash somewhere. It may seem easier to back out of that relationship than to mend it.
Okay.
But these broken relationships leave a poisonous trail behind them. As an influential leader, I will keep relationships working. So
Wow.
I think that's very, very crucial. The other thing also, there are some little things that I also want to say, and this is from Dr. John Egman Haggai in his The Influential Leader. He says, the influential leader does not neglect family responsibilities or use work as a way of escaping from difficult relationships at home. It's such a danger. Many of us who are high flying in our professions, it's like the family and the relationships at home are set aside. Sometimes things are not working in the home, but the picture you are painting outside is a totally different picture.
Yeah.
It's important that we go back and fix that first. It's very, very important. So we should not neglect it. The other thing, I suppose, in leadership that I want to speak about is expect nothing, you'll get exactly nothing. So expect big, you will get big. Like it's important to have that mindset. And again, that's from Dr. Hager. I've learned a lot from Dr. John Edmund Hager.
Wow.
Written many books, and this was from the 7 Secrets of Successful Business Relationships. And he puts that in there. Expect nothing. That has been very, very important for me.
Think big.
Expect nothing, and you'll get exactly nothing.
Think big.
Yes. The other thing is, yes. The other thing is, this may sound very trivial. Dramatic entrances at 5 minutes past the appointed hour. You are supposed to meet at 8 and you arrive at 8:05, right? They don't recommend you as a busy person. They confirm you as a rude and unprofessional person. So it's very important. You remember, Susan, at Hagar International, we were supposed to keep to time. You remember? Yes. It's an important thing to practice. Put yourself in the part of the person waiting for someone to meet you at a particular time. You get upset when they are late. Why are you upset? What are the thoughts that come into your mind? You start thinking, oh, this person doesn't even value me. It is a sign of being rude and being unprofessional. So we need to, no matter what meeting, whether it's a mother's meeting, it's a children's meeting, it's a big leaders meeting, whatever, practice it across the board, wherever it is.
There is this thing which I saw and I really loved it. It said, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And that really stuck to me. I was like, so everything I do is a message. Everything I do is a communication. What am I telling people by everything I do? Young, I'm thinking about the growth mindset and just developing that. Do you want to speak about that a little bit as we are wrapping up and winding down to our last 2-3 minutes, please?
Well, for me, I think the growth mindset is important to be challenged. The mindset only grows when it's challenged. If you put you take a bar of iron and in the normal weather, it's the same. You put it in fire where it's been burned and pushed, then it stretches, it expands, becomes more better, more purified. So the growth mindset is dependent on, again, like I said, what you're exposed to, what you keep hearing. If you are the smartest among your peers, then you're not growing. If you're
right.
Yes,
in our leadership world, especially in the John Maxwell team, it's highly emphasized. Always have people you're pouring into, and then have people that are peers that you're relating with, and then have people you're looking up to who are pouring into you. So it exactly that. And as we're rounding up, I was just thinking, I am a person of faith. You are a person of faith, Young, and Miss Sharon is a person of faith as well. What does this have to do with the Bible and faith in God and Jesus and all of that, Ma'am Sharon?
I think when you look at how the world defines success, it's mainly by the amount of wealth, power, and popularity a person gains. But when you look at when we look at the Bible defines success in terms of what is spiritual and lasting and ends in eternal life and joy. So that's the difference between the two. So whereas worldly success is centered on promotions and gratification of ourselves, biblical success, I think, is centered on obedience and glorification of God. So that's the the difference. So success is obedience to God, empowered by the Spirit of God, motivated by the love of God, and then directed towards the advancement of the kingdom of God. So that's what
Wow.
that's what I think is believing, loving, and obeying God.
Aeon, what does this have to do with Jesus?
Well, Joshua chapter 1, verse 8 says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate in it, that to observe to all according to all that is written therein. Then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and thou shalt have good success." So it's
Amen.
God's plan for every one of his children to be successful. And success to God simply means fulfilling the purpose for which you are here on earth. And for you to do that, you can't do it by yourself. You need to connect to the source so that you can rightly fulfill that purpose for which you were here on earth. Now, I would have been another footballer who just has the talent, the gift given by God, and play as I want, as I will. But success to God is playing according to his will, according to his way, in fulfilling his desire. That is success to God. So you could have been a millionaire and made a lot of money and a very successful business person. And to the world, you were a success. But to God, he just wanted you to be a primary school teacher in a village. And you would have been a failure to him.
And
Because
it brings us full circle to what is success to you? What does success mean to you? Yes, Aeon, you were concluding.
yeah, success to me is knowing God's purpose for my life, fulfilling God's purpose in my life in a way that is pleasing to him.
And if I
And
were to ask you, what are your last words to our audience? Our audiences, they've been waiting for you. And here you are. And you're about to go. And I'll put their links in the chat, okay? So you can connect with them and just keep that connection going. If you have questions that you want to contact them, our guests will be glad to help in
Mm,
any way that
mm.
it can.
Yeah.
What would be your last words, Ayo?
My last words will be like, none of us know what's going to happen tomorrow. Do what you have to do while you can now. Connect to the people
Wow.
that you can learn, that you can improve, can inspire you, and fulfill that which God has called you to do to the best of your ability.
To the best of your ability. Ma'am Sharon, your last words, please.
Thank you. My last words would be to spread love. You are successful, you are a leader. We are sitting here as successful people. I would say spread love through our actions, no matter where you are. You are in Afghanistan, you are in Iraq, you are in Fiji, you are in Cameroon, you are in Australia. You spread love through your actions. And I think there's something Dr. Haggai says, which is popular, and everyone who comes in contact with his work, attempt something so great for God that it's doomed.
It's doomed to fail if
Unless
God
God
were not in it. Yes.
Yes, I want to finish off with Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, which is my go-to verse. In everything I do, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths.
Thank you for hanging on here with us. We hope that we were able to add value to it, to in this broadcast to you. Remember that I know we couldn't say everything, but you have us. You can always connect, and we are here to go the extra mile with you. Let us know how this has impacted you. And yes, we are going to put the links to more information about our guests in the chat. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye.
For your corporate and personal needs.
Leaders World Institute, changing lives, one leader at a time.